What does it mean to be black in America today?
24 people have been killed so far this year, one per day. About the number of Americans killed during the same period in Iraq and Afghanistan combined.
Is it all black?
Yeah, it's all black.
Murder rate in New Orleans has already surpassed last year.
After more than a dozen homicides so far this year,
nearly 50% of black men are arrested in at least one non-traffic related crime by the time they turn 23.
Now, Detroit police are warning sports fans and anyone else who comes to the city that Detroit is a danger zone.
When you come to Detroit, you enter at your own risk.
I mean, they didn't have to kill my son.
Vehicle City is now America's murder city.
Fulton and Ray, we got one down. He's been shot. My partner's been shot. We're going to see Mary get cars over here now.
Officer down, Fulton and Ray. I need units to start.
3174, Fulton and Bagley.
Hey, my name is Lorenzo Pierson, and I am excited to be here before you to announce this documentary, 601 Black Men Matter. Very excited. This documentary is titled 601 Black Men Matter because that is the exact time Dr. Martin Luther King had been shot. Black Men Matter, you will find out the reason this is titled Black Men Matter throughout the documentary. My name is Lorenzo Pierson. I am the CEO of Youth Empowerment and Solutions. I am an author, motivational speaker, educator, and community activist, very much involved in my community. Not just in my community, travel throughout the country, working in other communities and with different organizations, colleges, universities, whatever the case may be. I am happy to have you here, and I hope that you enjoy what you are about to watch. When you look at the statistics involving race, everything good, African Americans are somewhere near the bottom. Everything bad, African Americans are somewhere near the top. So what I mean is the statistics is what brings the alarming reaction to what needs to be done in this community.
40% of black males only graduate from college. See, that's what happens when you get pacified all the way through school and that proficiency never comes up, but your financial aid cleared. So you got an acceptance letter. And now you sitting out, flunked out of school, owe the school a ton of money with no degree, trying to move forward.
For one, you a statistic because you got odds against you. Whether you graduate high school, whether you have a baby at a certain age, or your life expectancy. You deemed to die before 25 as a young black man.
You talk about youth being in gangs, being violent, selling drugs, dropping out of school. There are a lot of different factors, and you have to deal with each one on an individual basis. You can't group them all together and say this is what we need to do. And I think that's been the problem because we've been generalizing our young people, pretty much putting them all in one can. But you can't do that because some of the youth, they have mental issues. Some are lost, they have parent issues. Some don't have family. Some have behavior issues. Some are being misled by other youth. Those are the underlying causes of the statistics that we face dealing with African American men. When you talk about the statistics dealing with African Americans, when you have black on black crime, for example, and you have according to the Federal Bureau of Statistics, Department of Justice Bureau of Statistics, when you have 8,000 to 9,000 African Americans being murdered annually, 93% at the hands of other African Americans, that is an alarming statistic. When you have African Americans who only make up 30% of this country's population, yet they lead the prison population in America, that's a very alarming statistic. When you have African Americans who commit the same crime as as a white man, the same crime committed for a white man and receive a much harsher sentencing, that's very alarming. When you have African Americans, who only make up, again, 30% of this country's population, but leads the United States in HIV cases, that's a very alarming statistic, particularly for African American women. More African American women have HIV than any other ethnic group, male or female, in this country. That's a very alarming statistic. When you look at the graduation rate and the numbers of African Americans that are graduating from high school and college, those numbers are very alarming. When you look at poverty, the socioeconomic status, all the things that come along in the United States dealing with African Americans, all the good things, you have African Americans somewhere at when they're the bottom, and all the bad things, you have African Americans somewhere at the top. And these statistics are very alarming. They definitely need to be addressed.
You know, but we got so caught up, man, in this stereotyping, and society then put us in a situation where, you know what I'm saying, we had to stand still. We don't even want to go no further because we didn't accept it, you know what I'm saying? We didn't accept it what they gave us. You know, whatever they say, we accept that. You know what I'm saying? We don't go out and, as our own man, as the black man, we don't sit up and say, well, no, that ain't right.
Stuff that the black man used to be proud of doing, the government just took that adage and adopted it and pushed him out the way. And slowly but surely, in a minute, you know, it's not gonna matter. You know, the black population is more blacks behind bars than it is out here on these streets. You know, it's more blacks unemployed selling dope than it is, you know, even trying to get a McDonald's job. And back in the day, you know, you can get 15 years old, get you a work permit, you know what I'm saying, and then go work at a Foot Locker, go work at a McDonald's, you know what I'm saying? But in a couple years now, you're gonna need degrees for all that. And if you drop out of 8th grade, then what?
If we're going to save our youth, it's going to take some black men to stand up and be leaders and models so that they will have somebody to follow. So this is very important. So as black men, we have an awesome task, and that is we have to challenge that prison perception that hovers over our community. And that's what we have. We live a prison perception that declares that our youth are victims, are prison victims, and that our young men that they all drive-by shooters, that they all got something to do with dope, selling drugs. But that is not the case with every black young man. So that prison perception also say that the east side of Saginaw is not a safe place to live. And we cannot keep hearing those kind of statistics because there won't be nobody left in Saginaw if we keep putting up with that. So somebody have to stand up and make a difference. So how can we overcome this prison perception? How can we overcome it? That perception that's hanging over our community. So we will overcome it when we help our young people find purpose and a cause for their lives that is greater than themselves. That's what it got to happen. We got to be able to see life as greater than who I am, so that I will be be forced and I'll be focused on protecting where I am, you know, and protecting myself as I move forward in life. Now, we have to help our people find that purpose. We got to help them find that cause in their life.
Right now, to be honest with you, I feel like we're weak as hell because we're not taking advantage of the things that we ought to take advantage of. We letting like people from overseas come over here, own our stores, letting people run us any kind of way. I feel like, sure, we still in slavery if you ask me.
African Americans as a race, we only make up 30% of this country population, yet we lead America's prison system. And as you know, America has the largest prison population in the world in consideration of other countries. But African Americans, who only make up 30% of this country population, leads the prison population. And that's something that needs to be dealt with.
Nah, they ain't prepared for that, because see, ain't no guns in there. It's a straight knife in your back, throat, you never know where it's coming from. The young guy scared to death of me just to be in a room with me. He put thumbtacks in between his fingers just to fight me because I was so big. As you see, you already got the lower part of my body, you know what I'm saying? What y'all gonna do when a guy come at you with a knife 7 inches long? What you gonna do when you ain't got that gun? You gonna run or you gonna stand and fight? I mean, you gotta be on your P's and Q's every day. Who wanna live like that? Worried about what family member gonna send them some money so they can buy something off the counter and say, listen, when you can be out here working in a job or make your own business yourself and make your own money. Really hard in there. I don't think none of these young brothers are ready to go in there. They ready for that prison game. I mean, it's not a life you wanna live. Ain't no more you going in the refrigerator getting what you want. You eat at a certain time every day. I mean, you got to watch out for other people from different cities. Just might say, oh, he from here, he from over there, and he the only one in this union. You know, we should take anything he get. Y'all ain't ready for that. All these cats out here, y'all bonding together, and y'all doing all this together. What y'all gonna do when they separate y'all in your own, behind them bars, with a grown man, 42 years old, big as a house, you know what I mean? What you gonna do?
Nowadays, there's a lot of blind leading the blind. If you a parent and you have a child, you have say-so over the course and direction that child takes throughout his whole life. Just because you give up, I got too many bills on me, this girl riding my back, this suit on me. I got a lump sum I'm waiting on. You depending on government assistance. Get up, you have life. It ain't nothing stopping you but yourself, your conscience, that inside voice. And I don't gotta be a rocket scientist to state who that is. We all know who that is. He glamorized today. The devil wears Prada. Do's and don'ts of the devil. Devil, get up off me. It's in music. It's a part of everyday life, but you gotta be the bigger person not to let that burden defeat you. Some people think devil and they want to join him. Oh yeah, he's bad, he's a rebel. Some people think devil and think fire. Oh yeah, you gonna go to hell if you die. Some people think devil atheists. Oh yeah, we praise Satan, but people don't understand that the devil's not even in hell yet. He on earth like a roaring lion getting souls to suffer with him.
And slowly but surely, the chains and the handcuffs is getting tighter, but we're not getting no smarter. We just need to take the time out to really pay attention to really what's going on as black men. Now you can have the Million Man marches, you can have the back in the day speeches from Martin Luther King and all that other stuff, and that's all good. I'm not speaking bad on them cats, but Martin Luther King ain't helping me raise these folk kids. You know what I'm saying? The stuff that Huey P. Newton and Malcolm X, the stuff that they talked about ain't helping me raise these folk kids. It ain't helping me keep these lights on. You know what I mean? So to reach out, you know, to really make a difference in the community, you know what I mean? You have to hit a wider audience of youth You know what I mean? Because that's the next generation, man. You know what I'm saying? If the youth ain't taken care of, then what? Because, you know, I'm 28 today. You know what I'm saying? Yesterday I was 15. You know what I mean? Tomorrow I'm going to be 50. You know what I mean? And my kids going to be grown. What they got to look forward to. You know what I mean? And as black men, we have to band together to make some change, make something different. You know what I'm saying? Give them something to look forward to. You know what I'm saying? That's really why we matter. Just on the aspect of the future. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, it's really a dog-eat-dog nation.
And the one thing that I will say is when you talk about race is a very sensitive subject for a lot of people. A lot of people don't like to discuss race. And discussing race doesn't make you a racist. It just simply says that these are issues that goes on in our community and they need to be addressed, because the issues that goes on in the African American community are not issues just for black people. People tend to say, oh, this is a black problem. No, this is America's problem. You know, we're all citizens in this country. It's just the same. But when America comes to a grip where we can sit down and talk about race and address the real issues, we can begin to see changes and progress when it comes to dealing with racism and discrimination. Because in recent times, it seems like we're taking a step backwards instead of moving
Whether
forward.
you feel like a winner or not, you are a winner. Whether you feel you're moving forward, you're moving forward. You gotta see it. When you see it in the inside, you can be it on the outside. It's all up to you. We can railroad in these excuses all night long. We can talk about how bad it is and how bad it has been. But when you change the climate to your own perimeter and say, I respect all of that, and I'm listening to all of that, but then where do I go from here? Where do I go from here? If they don't hire you, hire yourself. If they don't give you a job, make your own job. You got the creative ability inside you because you're somebody. So what am I saying in essence? You got the power. You're going to rise from where you are. Instead of saying what you can't do, you're going to say what you can do. You're going to put things in motion. You're going back to school. Well, I'm too old. No, you're not. You're just right. You're going back to school. You're going back for a GED. Maybe you're not college material. I don't know. But you can get the GED. You're going to get something under your belt to get a self-worth back into your spirit, because it's not over until it's over. As a man, if you can look up, you can get up. You're going to get up from where you are. Every man, take your thumb and point to yourself and say, I'm rising after the day.
The black man need to just put his foot down, come on out of here and do this what we need to do. Take back our kids, take back our streets, you know what I'm saying, and start living. I go to Bay City, I work in Bay City. I go to these festivals that they have in Bay City. These people sponsor their festival. I sit up there one day and had tears in my eyes standing at the beer tent watching these people up here enjoying life, not partying, they was enjoying life, you know what I'm saying? And the reason I had tears in my eyes, because we can't do that.
At times, African Americans, we can be our own worst enemies. At times we can be, and that only comes with being able to make the right choice. And the reason I say that is because, for example, in our community, we don't support our local owned black business in our community. Pretty much every other ethnic group, they do. When you support your local owned business, that generates money for your community. You know, you have to know when to walk away from a fight. You have to know how to not allow your emotions, your anger get the best of you where you want to kill someone. People don't fight anymore. They don't duke it out and move on to live to see another day. You know, people get mad at the silliest thing, and, you know, they getting guns and they just start shooting. And they don't care who's in their way. It could be your mother, your father, your child. They just start firing, and with no regards to human life. You need to surround yourself around positive people. And we don't do that. A lot of times you have a lot of jealousy and animosity towards within the African American race. That's very disturbing. Then you look at black on black crime. Allow me to just say this. This documentary is not to focus necessarily on the negative things about the African Americans, because I will be the first one to say that we have made tremendous strides in this country, tremendous strides. As a matter of fact, I just read article about African American women, how they are leading the country in higher education. More African American women are graduating with higher degrees than any other ethnic group or gender, male or female. That's awesome. There are a lot of great things going on within the African American community. Even when you look at hip hop, the influence and the power that hip hop has.
It's the message that you're getting out of the music. You know what I'm saying? When you out here, you cussing, you talking about slapping this bitch and selling dope and doing this and that ain't positive. You know what I'm saying? That ain't positive. When these kids hear that, that's what they grow up thinking that they what they're supposed to do. That's why they turn out like they do. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what they're hearing. You know what I'm saying? This is what they get geeked on. This is what excites them. You know what I'm saying? Instead of the Bible exciting them or hearing a gospel song exciting them, it's a rap song or somebody getting killed out on the street. When something happens, what do? We break our neck to get to the TV to see who on the news, see who got killed. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not downplaying rappers or movie writers or actors or nothing like that. If that's your talent, do what you got to do and take care of your business. But back in the day, it used to be somebody at the house to tell you, like, you know, that rapper or that actor or that movie maker don't live like that. You know what I'm saying? That ain't true to life to them. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, we ain't got that person. You know what I'm saying? So that 15, that 12-year-old that's listening to the rappers and watching these shoot 'em up, bang, bang movies, you know what I'm saying? That's talking to the dope dealers, that's riding 26s and stuff like that. You know what I mean? He ain't got no strength to fall back on.
You gotta understand that it's what you want. And a fool doesn't want nothing but to keep conducting in foolish ways. You can see a fool with money. It's rich fools. But fools still have influence. And they can sometimes belittle the person with the reason and purpose and knowledge and understanding that wants to help others, but he's been persuaded by a fool who doesn't know no better to help himself or those around him, but still has voice and authority.
First, I just want to say right off the back, my name is Tyrone Muhammad. I'm a film director here in New Jersey, and I'm going to cut straight to the chase. I ain't going to sugarcoat nothing. I ain't going to give you a watered-down version. I ain't going to tell you something that's just popular. No, I'm going to give it to you real. If you ain't hear from nobody else that's telling you the realness, you ain't hear from nobody else. As a film director, you want to talk to those who just loving these brothers, these rappers. In fact, rappers such as Rick Ross, rappers such as Lil Wayne, those are out there having you fall in love with that nonsense, having fallen in love with thinking that that's reality when they're talking about violence. But they living other than that. See, they walking around with bodyguards and etc. And they got you out here gang banging, got you out here shooting and killing one another. But listen, all that, the reality of it is when I see you. When I see you, it's over. It's over. Why? You're dead. You're gone, and you're dead because of foolishness, right? And you come in here all shot up, bullet holes everywhere. You've been to the medical examiner. The medical examiner butcher you up, chop you all up, gut you open, take all your heart, your organs, your liver, your kidneys, your intestines. They remove your brain, gut you out. Gut you out. Now what happens now? You leave off a cold environment there. You come to the funeral home. We put you on the cold embalming table. And while you on that cold embalming table, we put cold embalming fluid in you, a cold water. See what I'm saying? And after all that, we watching your cold blood run down the tables. Why? Because you fell in love with a fantasy. You fell in love with something that wasn't even real. See, they got you buying their products, and they not even living that. They not even living that lifestyle. So they got you all thinking that that's real. No, that ain't real. Real is when your mother is before me. Real is when your mother can't afford to pay for your funeral. Real is when I gotta patch up those bullet wounds on you. See, that's real. See, that's real. See, Rick Ross ain't here to pay for your funeral. Rick Ross, Lil Wayne and them ain't here to help your mother buy a casket, to put you on the ground. No, it's your poor mother. See what I'm saying? I'm sick of it, man. Ain't no damn outcry. Ain't nobody fed up. Ain't nobody care about you. Your homies don't give a damn about you. Why is that? Yeah, they homies on the street. But when it's time to come in here to pay that bill Ain't nobody in here with your mother. Your mother in here by herself, putting her little pennies, her nickels, and her dimes, and her hard-earned dollars here to put you at rest for some foolishness. Think that over, man. Think it over. I mean, I don't know nobody that want to rush to a grave. I just can't even see somebody trying to rush to get into a casket. To be down for what, man? Think that over. Down for what? And at the day when they put you in that ground, and I've been to so many funerals, I've directed so many funerals, and after they eat that chicken and macaroni and cheese, get that Hennessy, smoke a little weed, you gone, man. Off to the next one, man. Everybody is profiting off the death of young black people. Everybody is profiting from it. The medical examiner, the hospitals, and the hospitals profit even more because why? Because when you get shot and they trying to keep you alive, you ain't dead yet. They still keeping you alive by means of artificial, meaning that they can have a mechanical device on you, keeping you alive, right? On a respirator. Or you close to death, they harvesting your organs. Taking your organs, man. Your kidneys, right? Taking your heart. And your mother and father know nothing about that, right? But then they go sell your organs or put them right on the black market, should I say. So now your mother who don't have money, think this over, think this over. Your mother who don't even have money to pay for your funeral, but yet your organs were so valuable that it's going over to somebody else on the market where they paying $25,000 and $50,000 and your mother see nothing of that, right? Not only she lost her son, now his organs is being distributed to other people where they cashing in on it, right? So you need to start thinking about this, man. Before you start going out here and talking about that you down with this set, down with that set, man, I'm telling you the real story is, man, you're gonna end up in the funeral home, I'm telling you. And you probably saying you ain't got nothing to live for. Man, you got everything to live for, man. You got everything to live for.
Put your time in, put your talent in, put your treasure in, and then start asking the questions. What's the proficiency scores? And start asking this question. How do we educate our children that don't come from good homes?
We could actually run this world if we was able to come together. You see what I'm saying? But by us not, and that's what they're scared of. They don't want us to come together because they know how powerful we is if we was to ever come together, man. Do you know how powerful the black man could be if we was ever to come together, bro? You know how strong you is by yourself? Now put him with you and you even stronger. You see what I'm saying? Now just think if we was all of us black men came together as one.
You have to accept who you are. Accept who you are. Know that God created you with purpose. No one is perfect. We all have made mistakes. And those mistakes, you have to learn to accept those mistakes, deal with them, and know how to put them in the past. You learn from them, but you put them in the past. Then you have to identify with yourself. Know what you want to do in life. Sit down, make short-term goals, and figure out the small steps to achieve those goals. Reposition yourself. Speak highly about yourself. Look for people that have similarities and share the same ideas and concepts to surround yourself with. Those are the steps and the things that any individual needs to do in order to shift and make progress in their life. When you talk about the pitfalls, as African American, we already know that we're at a disadvantage when it comes to our justice system because it's flawed. They say that Lady Justice is blind, but Lady Justice is not blind. Lady Justice can see from up under that bandit that's wrapped around her. So you know what you're dealing with. Why put yourself in that situation? You know, it's not about trying to get out of the situation once you're in it. It's about trying to avoid that situation altogether.
Now, the Stand Your Ground law, it changed from basically from an objective person vantage point to a subjective vantage point. So what that's saying is that if I use physical force or deadly force to defend myself, the law previously was that it had to be looked at from an objective vantage point. Is that would the average person acted in the same manner that person did when he pulled that trigger because he felt like his life was in danger? That's a pretty tough standard. But now the law is, could that person honestly believe in himself? Did he honestly believe that? How was Trayvon murder justified? Stand your ground. How was the hung jury in the Jordan Davis murder trial justified? Stand your ground. Well, that's in Florida. That won't happen here in Michigan. But actually, Michigan has the exact same law that Florida has. Now, the stand your ground law, it changed from basically from an objective person vantage point to a subjective vantage point. So what that's saying is that if I use physical force or deadly force to defend myself, the law previously was that it had to be looked at from an objective view vantage point. Is that would the average person acted in the same manner that person did when he pulled that trigger because he felt like his life was in danger? That's a pretty tough standard. But now the law is, could that person honestly believe in himself? Did he honestly believe that he was in danger? So why am I bringing that up? African American participation in the jury duty is horrible. You can't complain about the court system or the jury system or the criminal system if you don't participate as jurors.
That's where the movement actually began with the black church. The black church is very important because the pastor have a lot of influence on his members. When pastors move, their congregation tends to move. The problem with the black church, with some of them, is that you go to church, they'll teach you from the Bible, and you sing, you clap your hands, you thank God, and you leave, and you got you a feel-good message for the moment, which is great, but they don't get involved into the community. You have a lot of black men who don't go to church because they believe that the pulpit is insensitive. The church is very judgmental. There's not enough programs that outreach to what's going on in the African American community. And people look at the church as a money scheme. They go to church, you have a lot of poor people in church, but yet they see the pastor riding around and, expensive cars, expensive vehicles, living in lavish homes. And not to say that pastors don't deserve to live a certain type of life, but you have to understand that you have members who are mostly poor, mostly at poverty level, don't have the money to do certain things, but yet they're paying tithes, contributing to this offering. They're looking at life from a different perspective than the pastor, So you have a lot of things going on, a lot of different dynamics when it comes to the church. For the church to be effective, they need to get out into the community.
Well, the church play a big part in it, but it could play an even bigger part. Because I remember back in the day when you had pastors like Reverend Worthy and Reverend Barthel and them that would go into the bars and go into the clubs, and talk to people and get them to come to church. You know what I'm saying? Now you got these preachers out here, when they go into clubs and go into bars, they going to party. They ain't going in there to try to save no souls.
The church plays a great big role because it's not only an outlet to where they can gain knowledge and understanding about everyday life and tribulations and revelations that's going on, but it's a safe haven. If I know I can get this young man to put up his Tech 9 or his P89 pistol or his AK-47 just to come dressed down, humble thyself, be around a positive environment, if it's for an hour and a half, eat pizza, the church is a good outlet for youth. But it's sad to say that they get drawn away from it with every party, with every thought or rumination of something going on that isn't born.
But the way that the church should be, you know what I'm saying, with the different offerings and the different ways that the community looks at the church, you know what I mean? If the church was what it's supposed to be, then we wouldn't be in this mess right now. You know what I mean? We got 20 churches on every corner, but across the street from that church is the liquor store. You know what I mean? How could you have a church and you in service talking about don't drink, but you across the street from a liquor store? You know what I mean? Man, it's time to get out that church and hit these streets, man. You know what I'm saying? It's time to let's not have church service in the sanctuary. You know what I'm saying? Let's hit these streets. Let's walk down these streets and get to these cats that's really out here struggling. You know what I'm saying? That's really out here hurting. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some hurting people out here, man. Everybody ain't no gangster. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't no thug, and everybody ain't no dope dealer. You know what I'm saying? But the outlook of the church, every young person that got a tattoo is a thug. Every young person that didn't smoke a cigarette is a drug dealer. You know what I mean? And ain't no youth gonna go to that, man.
What does our Creator say about our health, and how does our Creator feel about our health? And so that question led me to the Word, of course, and it led me to 3 John 1 and 2. And the Word reads, "Beloved, I wish above all things that thou may prosper and be in good health, even as thy soul prospers." And that's a beautiful scripture, because our Creator is telling us, not only do I want to bless you, but I want you to be in good health so you can enjoy the blessing.
The lesson here to be learned from Jesus is this. Jesus' ministry went beyond the walls of the church. Jesus knew that everyone possible needed to hear his message, as many as possible. And he didn't stay in one area because who accepted him or who was loving him or who was saying all the things that we as adults, we as humans would want to hear. Jesus went and did what served his purpose and did what he needed to do. And I give you that message just to simply say that's what we have to do. Jesus was our example, and that's what we have to do as human beings here on this earth, is that we have to go out and we have to work in the community. We have to be there for other people. We have to teach. We have to share our testimonies, because when you share your testimony, you're giving God the glory. You're allowing God to work. And when you do that, you can see greater rewards and you can see the results. So with that being said, let's just get up and let's just do what we have to do.
I fall. I succumb to females. I give in. I fall for temptation. I fall to keep up with the Joneses. But I'm coming back 2 times stronger. I get to speak before y'all. When everything about the way I live tells a different story. I'm supposed to be dead. I'm supposed to be incarcerated. I'm supposed to be in prison for being a real nigga. It's a lot of different labels what I'm supposed to be, but I define who I truly am. So if you can think outside of other people living, other people wanting, other people persuading, and do you, you can see a new way too.
And we got to start saying something and doing something. You know what I'm saying? Because as long as we ain't saying nothing and doing nothing, man, these kids going to keep deteriorating. You know what I'm saying? Until we going to become extinct one day. we going to be like the damn dinosaur. You know?
Yeah, I think the reason it's hard for some people to move forward in life is because they haven't yet dealt with past pain and hurt. You have to be able to deal with your past, to accept your past, take responsibility for your past in order to move forward in life. You can't allow your past to hunt you and hinder you from making forward progress. Once you learn as an individual, regardless of what your race is, you will be able to move forward in life and make better decisions. Accountability, responsibility, and you move forward. Once you're able to do that, then you can start to see your life change for the better. You can start thinking more clear. You have a clear conscience. You can move forward. Set goals for yourself. Learn what is it that you want to do with your life. You know, everyone may not be able to go to college, but there is something that you can do that's going to benefit you, that's going to prepare you for a bright future. Find out what that is. Discover yourself. And if you find difficulty discovering what you're all about, your identity, you know, seek counsel. Go to your pastor, your local church. Talk to someone that can help you with that process. And then once you get to that point, now you can sit down and put some goals together, short-term goals. And then you start working towards those small steps to achieve those goals. And when you do that, you feel better about yourself. You feel good about yourself. You become more hungry and motivated, particularly when you get that first goal accomplished. And then the last thing is you have to surround yourself around positive people. You can't continue to be around negative people and expect to grow. You can't grow spiritually, knowledge, become more educated when you're hanging around people who are not on the same pathway as you are. So you have to put away with some of the things that are old and start developing a relationship with new people, with new things. And then when you do that, you can provide you can progress in life and move forward. And you'll notice great changes and you'll grow as a person.
Black men matter because we are a strong people. I mean, we the ones that get out there and do what other people won't do for the little money. You know, we ain't asking for a lot.
But the real black man is a father, is a husband, is a real man, a stand-up guy. You know, honesty and loyalty is what he about. His word means something. You know, once upon a time as a black man, your word meant everything. Nowadays, your word really don't mean nothing.
Yes, black men do matter. What would the world be without a black man?
You got to understand that you matter. Just as the next man that may have an education, that may have a lot of money, and you may not attain that right now, you still matter, man. So many of our young brothers, nowadays sisters too, end up in the graveyard. So much potential gone, man. Some of the answers and cures that we need in our community, gone. See? And what we got to do, man, we got to start uniting and realize that, man, we are fighting for the resurrection, for the totality of our people. We got to understand that we are fighting for our people, man, for our very existence here.